The point is that, generally speaking, we tend to be identical to one or a combination of our parents in the arena of money. For example, my dad was an entrepreneur. He was in the home building business. He built anywhere from a dozen to 100 homes per project. Each project took a huge amount of capital investment. My dad would have to put up everything he had and borrow heavily from the bank until the homes were sold and the cash came through. Consequently, at the beginning of each project, he had no money and were in debt up to our eyeballs. As you can imagine, during this period, my dad was not in the best of moods, nor was generosity his strong suit. If I asked him for anything that cost even a penny, his standard reply after the usual, "What I am, made of money." Was are you crazy? Of course, I wouldn't get a dime, but what I would get was it don't even think of asking again, Glary. I'm sure you know the one. This scenario would last for about a year or two until the homes were finally sold. Then he would be rolling in duff. All of a sudden, my dad was a different person. He would be happy, kind, and extremely generous. He had come over and asked me if I needed a few bucks. I felt like giving him his gallery back, but I wasn't that stupid, so I just said, "Sure, Dad, thanks," and rolled my eyes. Life was good until that dread day when he had come home and announced, "I found a good piece of land. We are going to build again." I directly remember saying, "Great, Dad, good luck," as my heart sank, knowing the struggle that was about to unfold again. This pattern lasted from the time I could remember, when I was about 6, until the age of 21, when I moved out of my parents' house for good. Then it stopped. Or so I thought. At 21 years of age, I finished school and became your gaslit, a builder. I then went on to several other types of project-based businesses. For some strange reasons, I would make a small fortune. Just a short time later, I would be broke. When I was about 6 until the age of 21, when I moved out of my parents' house for food, then it stopped. Or so I thought. At 21 years of age, I finished school and became gaslit a builder. I then went on to several other types of project-based businesses. For instance, or for some strange reasons, I would make a small fortune, but just short time later, I would be broke. I would get into another business and believe I was on top of world again, only to hit bottom a year later. The top-down pattern went on for nearly 10 years before I realized that maybe the problem was not the type of business I was choosing, the partners I was choosing, the employees I had, the state of the economy, or my decision to make time off and relax when things were going well. I finally recognized that maybe, just maybe, I was unconditionally or unconsciously relieving my dad's up and down in campus. All I can say is, thank goodness I learned what you are learning in this book and was able to recondition myself out of that yo-yo model and into having a consistently growing income. Today, the urge to change when things are going well and to sabotage myself in the process still comes up. But now there is another file in my mind that observes this feeling and says, thank you for sharing. Now let's get refocused and back to work. Another example comes from one of my seminars in Orlando, Florida. As usual, people were filling up to the stage one by one to get an autograph and say hello, thank you, or whatever. I will never forget one older gentleman because he come up sobbing. He would barely catch his breath and kept wiping his tears with his sleeve. I asked him what was wrong. He said, I'm 60 years old and I have been reading books and going to seminars since they have invented. I've seen every speaker and tried everything they taught. I've tried stocks, real estate, and been over a dozen different businesses. I went back to university and I got MBA. I got more knowledge than 10 average men, yet I haven't never made it. I've never made it financially. I would always get a good start but end up empty handed. In all those years, I never knew why. I thought I must just be plain old stupid until today. Financially, what listening to you and doing the process, it all makes sense. There is nothing wrong with me. I just had my daddy's money blueprint stuck in my head, and that has been my nemesis. Nemesis. My dad went through the heart of depression's era. Every day he would try getting raw jobs and selling things and come home empty handed. I wish I would have understood modeling and money patterns 40 years ago. What a waste of time. All that learning and knowledge has been. He began to cry even harder. I replied, no ways, your knowledge waste of time. It has just been latent, waiting in a mind bank waiting for opportunity to come out. Now that you have formulated a successful blueprint, everything you have ever learned will become usable and you will skyrocket to success. For most of us, when we hear the truth, we know it. He started to lighten up and began breathing deeply again. Then big grin came across his face. He gave me the biggest the biggest hug and said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Last I heard from him, everything was booming. He was accumulated more wealth in the last 18 months than in the past 80 years combined. I love it. Again, you can have all the knowledge and the skills in the world, but if your blueprint is not set for success, you are financially doomed. We often get seminar participants whose parents were involved in World War II or who lived through the depressions. These people are often in shock when they realize how much their parents' experiences have influenced their beliefs and habits around the money. Some spend like crazy because you could easily lose all your money, so you might as well enjoy it while you can. Others go the opposite route. They board They hoard their money and save for a rainy day. A word of wisdom saying for a rainy day might sound like a good idea, but it can create big problems. One of the principles we teach in another of our courses, the power of intention. If you are saving your money for a rainy day, what are you doing to get rainy days? Stop doing that. Instead of saving for a rainy day, focus on saving for a joyous day or for the day you will your financial freedom. Then, by the virtue of the law of intention, that's exactly what you will get. Early we had Early we say that most of us tend to be identical to one or both patterns in the arena of money. But there is also the flip side of the coin. Some of us end up being exactly the opposite of one or both parents. Why would that happen? Do the words anger and rebellion ring a bell? In short, it just depends on how kicked off you were at them. Unfortunately, as a little kids, we can't say to our parents, Mom and Dad, have a seat. I would like to discuss something with you. I'm not fond of the way you are managing your money or for that matter, your lives, and therefore, when I become an adult, I will be doing things quite differently. I hope you understand. A good night now and pleasant dreams. No, it does not go cute that way. Instead, when our buttons are pushed, we generally freak out, and what comes out sounds more like I hate you. I'll never like you. When I grow up, I'm gonna be rich. Then I will get whatever I want, whether you like it or not. Then we run to our bedroom, slam the door, and start pounding our pillow or whatever else is at hand to vent our frustration. Thank you for today's reading. We will continue if we have time. Really, I am really doing my best just to develop the reading skills, especially if you have different books. Maybe it's an interesting book that you want to read, that you want to just get some information from that book. If you read daily in your daily life, if you make it your daily routine, in the daily, hobbies and your interesting or favorite books, you can develop your mental, because mind is learnable. What you have to know is mind is learnable. If if the even if the thing is very much difficult and you cannot just overcome it, as long you just intentionally and deliberately work over the or work on the mind can be learned, and you can be successful in your few months. So I'm doing so also. So what is needed, what is not needed, I have to differentiate first what is needed, and I have to work over that. I have to study more and more again, and lately I will be perfect one. What is not needed in this concern and concept, I have to avoid at least. For example, fearing not to be successful has to be avoided. We have to counterfact to fight against it, and laterally you be a perfect man. Thank you for our listening. I hope you got some information, some knowledge. Knowledge is nothing. It is, accumulation of reading. It is accumulation. You be a perfect man. Thank you for our listening. I hope you got some information, some knowledge. Knowledge is nothing. It is, accumulation of reading. It is accumulation of hearing and some of it. Thank you very much.